the confidence in the group? How is confidence in the camp? There seems to be an upturn in performances since the international break. I suppose 5 points from the last three games, 5 points from nine, only one goal conceded. Did the international break come at the right time for the club, for yourself, for your players? And as that Cardiff win, has it given you a big boost in morale?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good summary. I would say that after a long run of games without a win, it was definitely very important to get that victory against Cardiff. But when we look back at how the last week was with three games, two of them away, I would say a 6-pointer against Cardiff, another demanding game against Watford, against a team that has been doing really, really well at the home, at the ground. I think it was important for the confidence of the group to see that we could not only get results but as well perform. I would say, especially against Watford, really high level. I would say that perhaps of those three last games against the Stoke, Cardiff, and Watford, for me, the one that we play perhaps at lower level was against Cardiff, and instead we got the victory because we had the accuracy in front of the goal that we have been missing in other games. But it's definitely a good momentum, and we need to keep building this momentum because now we have two games at home, and it will be crucial.
Yeah, and Marty, I suppose people will look on it and people look and say now that there's no point putting these results together if you don't follow it up and back it up, and you really need to sort of kick on now before the season is turns in just to really a relegation survival. You don't really want your season just to be all about just saving yourselves from relegation. So I suppose it's important now for the club, yourselves, players, if you have aspirations, that you really need to kick on during this Christmas period to give yourself something to play for in the new year.
Yeah, something that it's very obvious when you look at the table is that there is a big competition and everything is very tight. So the distance between us and the mid-table teams is not big. But we need to make sure that we get out of the situation where we are, that we get the points that we want to get as soon as possible. And in that sense as well, I remain confident in my players because at the same time with the club we agreed that the target of this season was to improve what we achieved last season. We know that it's a very difficult league with a lot of good teams, and we need to make sure that we look at ourselves, that we try to improve every week, but at the same time being realistic and aware that it's a demanding division.
I suppose, Marty, how alarming is it for you in terms of the home form this season? You're putting away together some good away results, picking up points at hard places, but the fact is we're probably looking, the fans are still looking for those home wins this sort of season. Supporters come out, pack the grounds, and it seems to be the players are maybe, I won't dare I say, putting on better performances away from home, but they seem to be getting the results away from home rather than home. Is that maybe a burden of expectation among the players? Do they feel at ease playing away from home this season, or can you put a head on it or something why this is coming to pass?
No, as always in football, there is not only one reason to explain why we have not been picking the results that we wanted at home, because I think the support has been always great since I came here. The supporters are eager to see us winning football games for them. I think reality is that in some games we definitely we could have picked 3 points. Like I remember Plymouth at home. Hull, I think that we played really well for many minutes, and instead we got punished in the few chances that we concede. I would say Stoke as well was a positive performance, and the reality is that we are not getting those victories, those points that are very important for us, because we really think that I really do think that Loftus Road, because has some special characteristics, is a pitch where we should try to create this atmosphere all together with the fans, with the players. That must be a very difficult pitch to come and play against us. Yeah, hopefully we can get better. We work on that. We work on the small details that we think we need to adjust when we play at home, and hopefully this will start to pay off.
I suppose your opponents this weekend, Norwich City, if you look at the last two games, in particular, would probably send a shiver down the spine in terms of an opposing manager. 10 goals conceded against two teams in the lower half of the division who have been struggling this season in terms of Plymouth and Luton. And Norwich put those games to bed ruthlessly and put them to bed early, in fact, before merely half time as well. So I suppose in terms of going after Norwich City, because obviously you're going there with a mindset of 3 points and another victory to keep the momentum to try and get this sort of home win as well. But is there a tendency of caution as well, given a side that has been so devastating in terms of front to goal of recently?
Well, as always, big respect for the position, no matter who they are, no matter how is the trend. Big respect for them. In that case, they are doing obviously really well. Not only in the last two games, but when it comes to all the attacking data, I think they are very strong. They are the team that scores most goals in the league. They are a team that has a high expected goals, if you want to count these as well. Reality is true that they are showing great efficiency in front of the goal because I think in terms of shots, they are 13th in the league. So it's mid-table, but they are showing great quality, and that's a strength. That's not luck. That's something that they got on them, and we need to be aware that they don't need many chances to score goals. Yeah, I know that we need to play at our very high level if we want to compete against them. We know that they have some players that are in a fantastic form, like Borja Sainz, like other players that are talented, and in terms of attacking, they have a lot of talent, and we need to make sure that we have a strong game in both areas. I would say both when we got the chances, because in the other side we are the third team that create more shots in the league, and we are not capitalizing enough. So we need to make sure that in both boxes we are really good in this game if we want to get the 3 points.
And just one or two more from me. You always, speaking to you in the past, you always mentioned yourself that this is a QPR. It's a big project. It's a club project, and you're very much united. And you always see yourself as the role of the coach in terms of your position, in terms of coaching players and implementing that on the field. That it's a united project, the Queens Park Rangers. But you've been obviously working now on this job for a good period of time, and you've been working with the players for a good period since the start of the season. You probably know the demands and the rigors of the championship and the load that it has. Do you think maybe come December, come early January, that you need a more deeper squad? There's in terms of numbers for the amount of games that you're playing. In terms of that, do you think there needs to be more depth maybe to this QPR squad in terms of if you want to push up the more table to give yourself more options?
No, I answer a lot of times questions regarding this. I've been saying always the same since some of the club knows really well what I think, what I want, and in that sense, obviously we have been really struggling with a big amount of injuries. I think any club in the division struggling with injuries will struggle as well in terms of results, especially and the amount that we got. And now we need to, as I said, look in our momentum, try to pick as many points, and then we'll see what happens in January.
And last question for me, Marty. That international period before it began, that international break, for you yourself as a person, and I know sometimes managers like to keep a focus and block out all the outside noise in terms of what's going on and everything. But was it a challenging period for you in terms of maybe that international break where the club found itself, all the noise going around and maybe all the talk? Where did you have to sort of maybe was it nice maybe to get away from the actual pitches for a while and spend time with the players in training and spend time together and do a bit of soul searching as a group and discuss things out? And obviously you've come back firing since that international break, but was it a bit of a stressful time for you before you went into that period of break time?
I got an incredible amount of support, both from players, fans, and owners during this period of lack of results. I'm very grateful for that. And yeah, it came to the right moment because definitely was important to during that international break to work together. And yeah, it's power football. I've been a while in this, and I know that there are up and downs. Now, hopefully, it's going to be a good period for us after this period where it was not easy for anyone, but I'm very grateful for the support I received from, as I said, fans,